Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rosano, and this is another episode of the world famous, the University Love, the best podcast in one, two, three galaxies. But, ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call this show Online Marketing Moves, and we are coming to you live today. Ladies and gentlemen, today is March the 15th, 2024. It's Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, come on in, come on in, come on in. We have an excellent show for you today. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about the supernatural. Today, we're going to talk about the supernatural. Now, I say supernatural, but I'm just joking around. We are going to talk about why you should, before you know, I'm going to tell you something up front, and I'm going to tell you something that you probably know. If you don't know, you should know. And so sometimes, me myself, the reason why a lot of times that I repeat things on the show is because for me, I have to hear stuff three, four, five, six times. And then it sort of oozes into the pores. It oozes into the system. And so today we're going to talk about before you accomplish the great things that you want to accomplish. You have to set up the believability. You want to believe, so we're gonna discuss that. But before we do, next week we're gonna do. Next week we're gonna talk a lot about the type of customer you want, customer retention. How to keep them around, how to keep them, involved, things of that nature. So next week we're going to be doing the first few episodes are going to be customer based, okay? And so but before we get into the all supernatural, I want to discuss a little topic that I saw, and then I'm going to bring up something that I brought up before. And I saw an article that said they're trying to ban TikTok. They're trying to ban the tiki-taki from the United States. Now I don't know. That's probably that dog probably won't hunt. But this is the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, all of us, all of you, should always either have a website or an email list or have your stuff on other platforms. Do not rely on just one platform, because just think, if you created a little TikTok videos, and I do TikTok, and I got all these thousands and millions of TikTok followers, and all of a sudden it shuts down, then what are you gonna do? You know what you are? It won't it won't be good. So I want you to, and I'll give you an example. Taken I've taken all the episodes that I ever recorded, and I uploaded them to YouTube. And then I look at my YouTube, and it's just getting started. I had to make actual videos, on YouTube. I'll make a, welcome to the page, welcome to the channel, that kind of stuff, and then, for YouTube, you have to do more than I upload the podcast, and that's cool and everything. But I know, and for YouTube, you got to be a little more you got to be a little more entertaining. With the podcast, I can be entertaining, but you can also be more informative, more, it's more, you know, hey, welcome to the show. It's a little more. But for YouTube, YouTube is entertainment, and not to get off into the weeds of another subject. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, no matter who you are, no matter if you're talking about dogs, if you're talking about caterpillars, whatever you discuss, and let's say you have a YouTube channel, the people want you to be more entertainment than information, okay? Because you can go get information anywhere. Um, I've been writing this. I've been writing this thing about affiliate marketing, and I'm halfway done. And I had to rewrite because I thought and I was writing it, and I thought to myself out loud, you got to put some, you got to entertain a little, you got to entertain. The information is everywhere. And a lot of people do not get the information, but the more entertaining. And I don't mean you don't have to be Andrew Dice Clay. Hey, hey, you don't have to be Don Rickles or nothing like that. But you got to know how to entertain the people. You have to look at everything as like you're putting on a show. Podcast is a show, YouTube is a show, wherever you put your content, you want people to be like, all right, let me click, boop, you know, and you know, and they will click. Some people will stay, some people won't, some people, and it's just like we talked about this before. I've told you this, and I'll tell you this over and over again. People are sheepish, you know, they're not gonna jump on board. It's like a TV show, You see a TV show, you're like, "Hey, have you watched that TV show?" And they're like, "No, I don't watch that show. I never heard of that show." But it's like game by the end of Game of Thrones, most people heard about Game of Thrones, seen an episode of Game of Thrones, watched the season, But in the beginning, I'm sure the first episode, it probably was a few people that watched it, but not like, hey, hey, let's have a Game of Thrones party. By the end, when the Khaleesi lost all her dragons, I think I don't know. My wife watched the show, so but by the end, everybody knew there was millions and millions of people watching. But we all know that in the beginning of your content, not is gonna be, it's always gonna be an uphill climb unless you're already semi famous for something, and that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But you just want to make sure you're not you want to make sure that you are performing, and there are different ways to go about it, different ways to think about it. I always think about what I'm gonna, my performance. Am I doing a good job? Am I how's the performance? Because I want you to come back. I want you to stick around. I want you to stay. I would enjoy if you stayed and you brought somebody and they brought somebody and they brought somebody. You understand what I'm saying? So no matter what you're talking about, whether you're writing, podcasting, doing videos, no matter what kind of content you want to be a little bit of a showman. All right. And so, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the supernatural, you know, if you are trying to rack your brain, if you're really racking your brain and you're like, how do I get more clarity? How do I figure all this, where to put my content, where to you know to to add keywords, if your brain, if you are racking your brain and you want the fog in your brain to lift up and go out, if you want to be more productive, if you want to you know really have focus, if you really want to do all that, you need to check out my friends at Magic Mind, okay? And the reason why I say this is because it helps. As I told you, before I started using Magic Mind, my memory, I had my lovely daughter. The memory, I'd be like, "Hey, what just happened a couple of days ago?" And before I had a baby, before my wife became pregnant with the baby, my mind was like a steel trap, you know. And after the baby, and not so much. But I started taking Magic Mind, and ever since then, I definitely been more productive. I spring up in the morning. It's very and I'm not just blowing smoke to you. I spring up in the morning and I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. Before, you know, I would I would be kind of, like a little groggy, I decided to focus on, and it's so weird how this works, synergy, and I know we're going to talk about, you know, belief and things happening around you. And I just want to say this. I started losing weight and I started working out, and I got a email from Magic Mind, and they said, we would like to work with you. And I said, great. And then I looked them up, and I said, this is perfect because I am trying to develop. I am trying to develop a real morning routine where I wake up, I go, I write. The first thing in the morning, I write. As I just talk to you about my little affiliate PDF. I write, the first thing in the morning, a workout, try to work out in the morning. And so Magic Mind helps me with all that. It helps me focus, helps me be more productive. Definitely has helped me with the with the brain fog. And so you should definitely give them a try. Check them out. As I told you before, my favorite ingredient my favorite ingredient in Magic Mind is Macta. Okay, Matcha. It's a natural extended release caffeine, and I will give you another one that that will blow your mind. Cordyceps mushrooms, and it says here a powerful one, an adaptogen that reduces inflammation, strengthens your immune system, and supports higher energy levels and physical endurance by ramping up the production of ATP in your mitochondria. So there you go. And I definitely, you know what? I just read that inflammation is the real thing. I remember, and don't worry, we're almost done. But I remember when I had been driving trucks for about 10 years at this point, and I remember I used to always feel like my knees were starting to like be inflamed, and I would get tired from my knees, and I had to look up inflammation, and I had to learn what kind of foods and this that the other, So I say all that to say, people, if you want to develop an awesome morning routine, if you want to develop something that will, if you want to get something that's going to help you with your productivity, with your focus, with your clarity, try Magic Mind. You can go to magicmind.com/marketing moves and use the promo code marketing moves 20 and get up to 50% off your subscription with the code marketing moves 20. Again, ladies and gentlemen, magicmind.com/marketing moves. Use the promo code marketing moves 20. And thank thank you, Magic Mind, for working with me, and I appreciate it. And so, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to talk about supernatural. And when I say the supernatural, ladies and gentlemen, what I mean by that, a belief system. Confidence is, I'll give you an example. Whenever I get my hair cut, for about 10 hours, whenever I get my haircut, let's say if I get my haircut about 10 o'clock, for about 10 to 12 hours, you can't really tell me nothing. I have confidence. I'm like, uh, you can tell by the way I walk, it's like the BG song, staying alive. You could just play a song around me all day and be like, staying alive. And I'm walking like John Travolta when he was in Saturday Night Fever, like, hey, I'm the man. And so for about eight to 12 hours, after I get my haircut, I'm like, I know I look good, you can't, woo. And but then it goes away, and then I'm still there. The confidence, is gone. But I have a belief system that, the thing that I have a belief system that, like just like this podcast, I believe that we're gonna grow and we're gonna grow and we're gonna get bigger. And it's not a confidence thing, it's a belief. And it's a know-how. And I come every day, you know, and the more I do it, the more I believe in it. And so whenever you want to get started on anything, it doesn't matter. All you can have all the information in the world. You can have all the information in the world. But if you truly, in your heart of hearts, don't believe that you can do it, then it won't get done. It won't happen. And a lot of times, a lot of people, they think that's fooey. They think that's hoo ha, but it's not. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example about me. When I was a young man, um, I remember I told you about this girl I tried to date once when I was like 15 or 16, something like that. And and I remember I started to do things, and I was like, hey, hey. But I remember I didn't really believe that it was gonna happen, and it never quite worked out. If I would have had a couple dashes of belief, it probably would have happened. Now, definitely, we wouldn't be married and none of that kind of jazz. But I'm just saying, you know, for a long time, I remember when I started driving trucks, it was just something for me to something I needed to do. It was for a job. And then I was like, there's no hope. That I had no belief that I could do something different. And then finally, I started to develop. I said, in order for me to really make the things that I want to do work, I have to believe. I have to have faith. And me personally, I have faith in the Lord, and I pray every day, and I just know whenever I get started with something, it might not be tomorrow, right? You know, might not get a million downloads in a day tomorrow, but I know at some point those 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 type of things are gonna happen because I have the belief. The belief is there. Now I'm doing the work. And whenever the universe sees that you are, whenever you have your mind made up, we talked about this before. Whenever you have your mind made up and you say universe, and I'd say universe for some of y'all. Whenever you say universe, I'm going to do this, and nothing's gonna stop me. Now we all know if you're 40 years old and you never played professional basketball, that's not gonna work for you. We all know that. But I mean a real belief in something that you can do. And you can achieve anything, besides being a 45-year-old basketball player. But other than that, you can achieve anything. And it starts with believing in you. It starts with the deep down belief that, hey, there's gonna be bumps in the road, you know that. And there are no good there are no good days, there are no bad days. Though it's just days. You live in the present moment. That's one of the most important things you know you you must know. You live in the present. Whenever I read the Bible, it's interesting. Whenever I read the Bible, it doesn't say God then. It talks about God in the present tense, because God is in the present. God doesn't live yesterday. He doesn't think about yesterday. He's not thinking about the future. He thinks about the present. And it's so weird how as you get older, my daughter doesn't she's starting to remember some things, but a lot of things, no, like she'll see a picture of herself. She's 2.5. She'll see a picture of herself, and she says, who's that? She says, ooh, baby. And it's like, it's you, but she don't know it's her. You know what I mean? She lives more in the present than any of us do. And so the more you live in the present, and the more that you have the utmost belief, it's not confidence. Confidence comes, and confidence goes. But if you have the direct belief, the real belief that, hey, I will achieve this, and you know you can set a date, or you can just get started. The more belief and action will get you a lot farther down the road. Do you need to know? We talked about overlearning the other day. Do you need to know everything to get started? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. When I first started this podcast, if you would have told me, hey, after you get done recording, you got to upload, you got to write a title, you got to write a description, you got to write an email address, you got to write this, you got to write that, and then you got to turn around and make sure it's uploaded to this page and that page. And you gotta do this and you gotta do that, and you gotta spread your content all around like birds dropping seeds. None of that. I knew. I just thought you uploaded, people found you, and boom, boom. That was it. I did not know all the other stuff that that came with it. But when I got started, after a month or two, it's like, all right, we're started. Boom. Let's start. Let's go. Let's see what happens. And so you need to, don't worry about, oh, I've never done this or I've never done that. The only thing that you need, the most important thing before you do any of that, the most important thing is you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, hey, man, I am he, I am her. Whatever gender you are. I am he, I am her. I believe in myself. It don't matter. You don't need a group. You don't need 1,000 people believing in you. As long as you believe in yourself, you know, um, it will happen. You know, something good will happen to you. Now we talked about it 2 minutes ago. There's gonna be bumps in the road, and that's all right. But you look at yourself every day. If you had to look at yourself every day in the mirror and you say, mirror, mirror on the wall, who believes in such and such, such is all you. You believe in you, and you take some action, and things will happen, you know? And it's just the way it is. And so, ladies and gents, 20 minutes. We've been at it for 22 minutes. We got in the belief. I will write more and more about believing, because the reason why I will is because it's very important. It's one of the most important things. The belief and just taking action. Watching 1,000 YouTube videos is not going to get you nowhere if you don't believe in what you are doing. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Today is Friday, so it's a wrap for the weekend. We might drop a bonus episode. I definitely got to drop I need to drop a welcome to my YouTube channel video. So I'll try to do that within the next week. I won't promise it'll be next week, but you can go to wherever you get podcasts, and you can look up online marketing moves with yours truly, Tony Rizzano. You can go there, you can download. Do me a favor, okay? Download every episode, and then whenever you're driving in your car, whenever you are doing whatever, you can listen to this show. All right. You can find us on YouTube. You just look up Tony Rizzano, and you will see all the videos. We have the podcast playlist. We have the videos that upload on a daily basis. Check those out. We trying to get a bump in the YouTube algorithm. So check us out there. And don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about the greatest marketing show in the galaxy. Okay? And so, ladies and gents, until Monday, my name is Tony Rizzano. Thank you for listening. God bless. And as always, everybody, peace.